Hey guys, welcome to day 2 of preparing to do a Flair competition. So we've got 11 days to go now. I only basically decided yesterday night before that I was going to enter this Flair competition over in Coventry on the 24th of September. So first of all, we have the rules. This is going to be vitally important for us to actually get the prep together. So I've printed off the rules. I'm going to go through the rules, and as part of that we're then going to create our list of what we need to focus on over the coming days, possibly break it down day by day and actually have ourselves a plan for how we're not going to embarrass ourselves ridiculously at this Flair competition. So starting on the front page, we've got a breakdown of prizes. Really this is like the least important stuff, but just above it we have our sponsor. So Tuaca sponsoring the competition. I believe there's a mixology drink involved, in which case we need to get hold of Tuaca so that we can try out some drinks. We also need to make sure that the bottle is appropriate for the Flair moves that we're going to be trying to do. Yeah, so that's kind of the only real takeaway from this front page. Cool. Next page, general rules. Please read carefully. So it's a 5-minute routine, that's important. Competitors must make 2 drinks during their overall routine, maximum 3 objects of Flair, and choice of music must be 5 minutes long. So we've kind of repeated, yes, it's a 5-minute routine, your music's got to be 5 minutes long, obviously. But maximum 3 item Flair and 2 drinks. Competition organiser is West Midlands Flair Club, sponsors are Samoa Joe's Tiki Bar, Flair Incorporated and Spirit sponsor, which is the Tuaca. Entrance fee of tenner is charged on the day. I'm not really sure why this happens. I think it's probably mainly to fund the prizes, and then obviously from the audience and stuff as well. Competitors must make 2 drinks during the Flair routine. We've already seen that. Cool. First drink will be a working Flair drink. You'll be required to develop the cocktail and name it. And only the sponsor's spirit can be used as the main ingredient. So we basically need to have primary alcohol in this cocktail is going to be Tuaca. Cool. Second drink is exhibition Flair, and it's Stolichnaya vodka, cranberry juice and lime, and must be made to spec recipe. I'm not sure if the spec is in here, but we'll find out. Any bottles can be used for the working Flair, but you must at some point Flair with the sponsor's bottle in your routine. Any bottles can be used for the exhibition Flair routine, but you must at some point Flair with Stolichnaya in your drink. Any competitor that displays low integrity, poor taste or disrespect for the competition, sponsor, staff or premises is subject to disqualification from the competition. So basically, don't be a dick. All competitors must be on start by 5:30 on Monday the 24th of September 2018, Samoa Joe's Tiki Bar, 18 Spon Street, Coventry, blah blah blah. That's cool. Competition starts at 7. There will be a maximum of 15 competitors. I believe we've kind of got confirmation it's going to be about 6 to 7 to 8, something like that. The event is open to all bartenders over the age of 18. Now, I don't know, I'm not technically a bartender anymore. I don't bartend as a regular thing, but hopefully I'm not going to get disqualified for that. Sonny knows me, he's running the event. Music must be supplied on in audio format on CD and in its own cover, properly labelled with the competitor's name, running order and track number. Now, I'm not going to have the running order. I can have my name, put that on there. I'm also probably going to take it on a phone and have it in Dropbox and a couple of other ways, probably a couple of CDs too. That just gives you a bit more backup to make sure that you're not going to struggle with getting your music in, especially as I'm not going to be probably flaring to a standard track. It needs to be 5 minutes in length. The beauty of creating either our own music or our own mix of tracks, that we can get it to exactly that, and we can actually have waypoints within that music track that we can go, right, at this point I should have done this, I should be at this stage. As this beat of the music hits, I should be starting drink number 2, for example, so I can make sure that I'm still on track in my routine. Midlands Flair Open round 1. 5 minutes in total, 2 drinks. First drink is working Flair, which is Tuaca as the main ingredient. The cocktail will be tasted but not scored. Okay. Any bottles which are used for the working Flair, labels must be removed or covered, but at some point you must Flair with Tuaca. Working Flair, standard flavoured juices, garnishes will be supplied by the organisers. Any other special mixes, garnishes needed should be supplied by yourselves. So I'm going to say, we have actually got the second drink spec here, that's cool. First and foremost, if you're going to a Flair competition, don't expect anything to be there. Literally turn up and expect that there's going to be a surface which you can use as a bar, probably a speed rail, probably something with ice in it. Take your own ice scoop, take your own shaker tins, every bottle that you're going to need, all your own pour spouts. If you need any other tools, if you need a bar spoon, if you need a muddler, anything like that, make sure you've got it with you, because you cannot guarantee that any competition is going to provide particular equipment for you, and even if they do, it might be weighted differently to what you're used to. It might be a different style of bar spoon. You could be expecting to go in there and do the old Nicholas St. Jean, balancing the bar spoon with the tin on it on your forearm, find you've got a bar spoon that's not got a flat end to it. So yeah, just take everything with you. Don't assume anything will be there. Second drink, here we go. So this is our Stolly and cranberry. So glass, Collins glass, mixer with ice, 1.5 ounces Stolly, 1 ounce lime juice, and 3 ounces of cranberry juice, garnished with a squeezed lime. So for this, again, I'm also going to take my own glassware, because I don't know what kind of Collins glass it's going to be that's provided. I've got 14 ounce granity Collins here, which are really good for flaring with a standard weight. You know what they're going to feel like, so I'll take probably a case of those with me, six glasses. 1.5 ounces of Stolly, ounce of lime juice, 3 ounces of cranberry juice. So for this to give me the most possible access to what we're going to be doing, I'm not going to use a store and pour for the cranberry juice. I'm going to stick that into glass bottles, probably with 1 ounce in each. So that I've got multiple bottles that I can use throughout the routine, and I can always grab extras to top up to that 3 ounces. 1.5 ounces of Stolly. Typically in Flair competitions, most bartenders want to have as little liquid as possible in the bottles. So I believe the minimum in here is probably going to be 1/2 ounce. We've not got to that section yet, but that's probably the minimum that's going to be allowed, which means the less you put in there, the less likely you've got getting a spill, which gives you a penalty according to the rules in here, I believe, that I've read. So ideally you want to actually use 3 Stolly bottles and pour 1/2 ounce out of each, which doesn't really make sense to me. So I'll probably set some up like that, and then I'll probably have an extra Stolly which has got at least 2 or 3 ounces in there, which I can use to top up if needs be. But this is just where we're going through. I'm not going to use a store and pour, as I said, and again lime juice. I might even squeeze that directly out of the limes. I might just cut a lime in half, squeeze it with an elbow press. It gives you more of that kind of craft feel. Cool. Any bottles used for the exhibition Flair, blah blah blah, we've read all this already. Working Flair bottles must be set to no less than half full. So that Tuaca bottle, potentially, I guess, it needs to be half full. Any bottles used for exhibition Flair must be set to no less than 1/2 ounce. Yep, there we go. No circumstances are empty bottles to be used. Empty bottles may be passed to the spotters to avoid them being used by mistake. So basically, what they mean by spotters is barbacks. You're allowed to have barbacks either side of your stage if you want, which tends to be the competitors, especially in these smaller competitions. You will have the other competitors that are competing on the day will sit either side of the bar and basically catch stuff that you're finished with. Keep hitting the table and making the camera wobble. It's really annoying, but we're gonna power through it. I've got this background now. Cool. No plastic bottles may be used, that's fine. That wouldn't include like store and pour bottles anyway, because that's a separate thing for juice, but what they mean is no Flair bottles. Pour spouts must be completely unrestricted and allow a free flow. Now, when we did a competition a while ago, we also specified that we kind of provided those pour spouts and we set the bar up and everything, so we had them at full length. Now, most Flair bartenders will actually knock them down into the bottle so that they're only protruding maybe 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch out the top of the bottle. That means that you're less likely to catch those pour spouts on things. It also makes the bottles spin a little bit quicker, from what I've seen, and also makes them less likely to spill. So I will confirm with the organisers that that's okay, and if that's the case, then we will do that. Competitors must be ready to compete at least 2 competitors before themselves, before their allotted slot. Tricky if you're the first one up, which I might well be, given my lack of experience in the recent times. Competitors can and should provide their own bottles, tins, pourers, and tools if required. Sponsors or venue will accept no responsibility for injury or loss of equipment during the competition. So basically this is just saying, bring all your own stuff, don't expect us to have what you need there when you arrive. Bartenders are given 5 minutes to set up the competition bar however they want. So that's cool. It means when you walk on the bar, you need to actually know where you want to put stuff, where stuff's going to be set up for you. This is where having our little practice bar that I showed you in the first video is going to come in really, really helpful. So we're going to be able to practice making sure that things are in the right places, which also means then that during the routines, you are able to kind of grab stuff on the fly and know where it's going to be. One thing that's not specified in here, and you find isn't specified in a lot of Flair competitions, is how high the ceiling is going to be above this bar and what it's going to be lit with. So, one of the things that I'll be doing is practicing in my office, which has quite a low ceiling, so I won't be surprised if the ceiling's a little bit higher and I've got more space to go upwards. Brilliant, but you're never going to be, really, really low down and troubled. I did actually have a competition at TGI Fridays where it happened to be that we were competing on my home bar, so I knew exactly what the venue was like. However, the other bartenders were used to a much higher ceiling, people bouncing stuff off the roof all day long. I mean, I did actually cut my eyebrow at one point practicing, but in the competition, because I knew exactly where I was going to be flaring, no problems at all. So we get into the scoring section now. So this is actually how the judges will be looking at what we're doing behind that bar and where these points are going to come from. So scoring, total of 300 points available. Working Flair and Exhibition Flair is worth 200 points, 50 points per subsection. Variety, a great bartender should be able to do something cool with every item behind the bar. We want to see competitors flair with everything they touch. For example, if you pick up a bottle and just pour, the judges will see this as a missed opportunity. The more types of different flair moves, grabs, pours, bumps, taps, rolls, stalls, etc., the better the variety score will be. And I wouldn't just say the types of moves, but also like your ice scoop, can you do a move with that? If you're going to use a jigger, can you do something interesting with that? Don't just pick up a bar spoon and stir a thing. Make sure that it's entertaining. You're going to flick it around your thumb, or you're going to pop it behind your back, or something along those lines. So, not just the moves variety, but also the kind of equipment that you're using. Creativity. Our judges have a wide variety of flair and will spot if someone has their own creative moves or style which they believe the competitor has come up with themselves. Essentially, they want people to be quite original and do something they've not seen before. Cool. Difficulty. This has nothing to do with how many objects you flair at once. The best way of scoring well under the difficulty section is to land combos, as sometimes a bump, tap, roll combo is more difficult than a 4-object move. Now this has obviously been lifted from another competition's rules because we're not allowed 4 objects anyway. This is maximum of 3 objects at any given time. Smoothness. Did you use a set routine or just improvise? Did you recover well from a drop or let it affect the rest of your performance? So this is essentially how will you flow. Now this is also where I've found that you tend to separate bartenders that just do competitions from bartenders that actually flair on a day-to-day basis behind the bar. The bartenders that actually flair on a day-to-day basis will be used to smiling and laughing off the occasional drop. I try not to drop, obviously, but when it does happen and you're able to just crack on with your drinks, that's what we're looking for here. Entertainment. So we're into the second kind of second big section. So we had Flair was the first one, entertainment was the second. 25 points per subsection here for a maximum of 100 points. Balance. The judges will look out for a well thought out routine, not something that hasn't been planned. Your routine should build up to a big finish for maximum points. Now, I have been guilty, certainly in the past, of just having kind of blocks of moves that I will do together, but not necessarily having a real flow to the whole routine. So that's something that I'm really going to work on in this. So balance is a big one for me. Showmanship. Flair is all about entertaining the crowd. You should interact with the spectators and make them enjoy your routine a lot more. A cheeky smile in the middle of a routine goes a long way. Okay, that I can do. Showmanship, I've used bits of some of my knowledge from the Magic world in the past. There's certainly people that have done it far, far better than me. Dean Sunil's, the guy that kind of created the Flair bottle with Flair Co. Comes to mind, and also Brendan Rodriguez, who was started off, I met him in Flair bartending, and now I believe he's the Magic Circle's Close-Up Magician of the Year. So astonishing magic and does a lot of contact juggling and things like that. So we might go down that route a little bit. Maybe I'll message him for a bit of advice. Music interaction. This is the third one. Flaring in time with your chosen song makes it look like you are dancing while flaring, and this goes down a storm. The judges will be looking to see if you stop when the music stops, breaks, and if you're flaring to the beat of the music. So that's cool. I'm not actually too bad on rhythm. My wife is a dance instructor, which is really cool for me because I'm going to try and hit her up as well for some dance moves. Not dance moves, but a little bit of input in terms of the routine from that point of view. And so that should be quite good. She also actually comes to me to help with timing and things on some of the moves. Composure. Stay calm and relaxed. Are you confident while performing, and do you recover well from drops and mistakes? To score well, you must have these abilities. Self-disappointment is a big no-no. Well, this is just true in any kind of performance, so yes, absolutely agree there. You do need to be composed throughout your performance. You don't want to be all over the place. TGI Fridays, back in the day when I was working there, we had swan theory, which is basically you need to make sure that the swan always looks really peaceful and serene above the water, even though the legs might be stuck in the weeds underneath. Right, last page, I think. Yeah. Deductions. 2 points for a drop. You will lose 2 points for a drop. A drop is deducted when an object you are flaring is out of your control and falls onto the floor or onto the bar. We will not count drops with beverage napkins, straws, ice or garnish. So I can throw ice all over the place. I can chuck. I guess from this I could chuck like 8 garnishes into the air, and if one of them lands in the drink, then I win. So we might do that for a giggle. Also, if you're flaring 3 bottles, for example, and you drop 2 of them, that will be counted as 1 drop. Okay, so it's per move, not per item that you drop. Cool. If you drop a bottle and it spills, you will only be penalised for the drop. You will not be deducted for the spill as well. Cool, because the drop is worth the same amount as a spill. And if a bottle, especially if the working Flair bottle hits the ground, it's probably going to spray some liquid out as well. If you knock the bar and 2 tins fall off the station, this will be counted as 2 drops. For here it is as the fault of the bartender. That doesn't make much sense to me, but fine. Okay, that's the rules. Spill, 2 points. A spill will be down to the judge's discretion, so they will probably not penalise you if a drop comes out the top. If you get what we call a rooster tail, where literally liquid is flying out in like a ribbon, you will definitely get a spill penalty there. A break is worth 10 points, so whenever a glass object is smashed, either in midair or on the bar or floor. Miscellaneous, 5 points. So this is the interesting ones here, and this is where a lot of bartenders actually go wrong, and where bartenders can pick up a lot of points quite easily. A missing ingredient, or wrong procedure. Now, wrong procedure is tricky because they don't necessarily know what you're doing with your first drink. It's up to you what you want it to be. We'll be looking for beverage napkins, straw, garnish, plenty of ice. Whether you use the correct procedure while making the drinks, and finally, if you put the correct ingredients into the cocktail. Cool, so in this case, again, this is kind of a smaller local Flair bartending competition, so there will certainly be drinks that don't require a straw these days. A lot of Flair bartenders probably in the past would have mainly been doing your kind of disco drinks, your Long Islands, your Blue Lagoons, stuff that's served on the rocks, blah blah blah. Basically, if the drink is wrong, not served in the way that it should be served, that's when you're going to get penalised. I don't think if you did a straight up drink, you would be penalised for not putting ice or a straw in it. Fingers crossed. But this is kind of where you have to go through these rules and really break them down so that you can be as ridiculous as possible, actually. This is where you actually find the gaps in your own rule system. And then the big penalty at the end here is missing drinks, minus 40 points. Quite simply, if you don't have the drinks on the bar by the end of the routine, then it's considered as missing. If you have a glass on the bar with ice but no alcohol or mixer, then that is a missing drink. If a drink is considered as missing, you will not get deducted for the missing ingredients as well, which is good, because otherwise you're going to lose basically all your points. But essentially, this could go quite wrong if, for example, you were going to do a big move at the end of your routine, which I've done in the past, where you throw the whole drink up in the air, catch it behind your back, and then place it on the bar top as the music finishes, which is a really cool move. But if you fluff that, you've now got no drink and you're losing 40 points. So that would suggest that if I was going to do that move, I would make the Stolly and Coke earlier in the routine. The Stolly and Cranberry, sorry. I would make that earlier in the routine, because that's the drink that I would probably do that with. And then I've at least got some time left that I can replace the drink if I have to. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Cool. Yeah, that's kind of the end of the rules. So we've got a few things to think about here. First of all, jobs list for me is we definitely need to sort out the music track. I need to do some basic just Flair practice, probably warming up and just getting loose, using some of the plastic bottles. I need to work out exactly what my cadence is going to be for this routine and how quick I want that rhythm to be going. One other thing that is quite interesting is if you have to free pour on any of these, they sometimes put in like a free pour test where you have to pour like an ounce into one tin and 2 ounces into another tin. If you're really clever about this and you know the pour spouts you're using, you can actually set up your music track so the click track, the beat of the music is the same pace that you would use for free pouring. Then all you need to do is it's 4 beats of this music. When your adrenaline's going and you're doing a competition like this, it's very, very easy to go quicker in your head than you should be going. But if you're aware of that beat, and that beat is at the right pace for your free pour cadence, then you can basically cheat the system by doing that. But it's not cheating because you pour in for the right length of time. That's all you're being asked to do. It's not like you're using a pour spout that doesn't pour for longer. So those are some of the things that I've got in my head at the minute. Potentially these cash prizes are okay. Like it's a little local competition, 125 quid if you win, 75 quid in cash if you come second, 50 quid for third. I'm just trying to think what I'm actually going to spend money on in competing here. I might need to get a bottle of Tuaca. Other than that, I don't think there's going to be any real costs apart from getting there. So that's where we are, guys. We will do some Flair practice next, and we'll start working on a music track as well. Once we've got an idea of which bottles we're going to use and stuff like that. Cool.